Okay, this is really actually amazing news that we should all be very happy for this. But do you guys know about Markiplier's movie?
No.
Which
Yes,
movie?
I do.
Yeah, it's really cool. So Markiplier, do you know who Markiplier is?
Yeah, he's cool.
The Tuber Scum.
Yeah, he's like from our era.
Yeah, he's been around forever. It started off with gaming content and kind of branched out to absolutely all kind of content you could think of. And
He basically crushed everything he's done.
yeah, he's one of the best creators on the platform. And he created and starred in a fully independent horror movie that's based on it's a video game adaptation.
What was the Iron whatever thing? Okay.
Iron Lung, yep. And it had a $3 million budget, and so far it's made $20 million and counting. And he self-funded it, directed it, edited it over the free weekends that he had in between shooting his YouTube channel, running his podcasts, and running his clothing company. It was originally meant to screen in only 3 theaters, and then they were able to get it up to 50. And then there was massive response from his audience, like calling different theaters, trying to ask, "Oh, are you going to show Iron Lung?" To the point where it eventually became available on 4,500 screens. And on January 30, it was #1 on the box office charts above anything else coming out. So against Sam Raimi's movie, against Zootopia 2 or whatever, like it's the #1 movie, and it was made on a $3 million budget, fully independent. And
It was David versus Goliath because, and there's a similar movie to that just came out too called Melania, where
similar to that.
very similar. So Melania Trump, obviously a forgotten about first lady, she released the movie and it just made like $8 million at the box office, which is that's crazy. It never happened before, I guess. That's what people are saying. And so yeah, it did really well. And so people are like, wow, we should expand it to more theaters because of not coercion, but because it's so good and popular.
The next day, his movie was removed from the box office charts with no explanation.
What?
Wait, what?
Well, they need to make more
Wow.
room for Melania, which is incredible if you haven't seen it.
That's crazy.
On Friday, the box office numbers. I'm #1, right? I milked it a lot. I said it. It was very funny. I knew that Sam Raimi's movie was going to pass me eventually by the end of the weekend, but I was like, haha, I'm #1. But then I didn't see this yesterday, but here's Saturday's. So this is Saturday, right? I swear I was on this list, but Iron Lung isn't here anymore. There's no numbers for Iron Lung. It took me off the chart. And I thought, hey, maybe that's a fluke. Maybe there's something wrong, but here's Sunday. I wake up this morning, which reports the day before his numbers. I'm gone. I'm not even above Hamnet. I'm nowhere. Zootopia's back up here. Avatar's up here. Melania's up here. I feel like I should just, maybe I'd be fine with here. I'd be fine with being on the chart. Why'd you take me off the chart? I feel like I deserve to be on the chart.
Dude, that's messed up, huh?
Melania's a scrappy little indie.
Damn it, Steve.
What? It's a scrappy little indie just trying to do what it can. And that's what's so impressive about it.
Wow, that's crazy.
Why do you think
The
that is?
studios, obviously.
Do you want to know this, or do you want to know the B plot of the Melania bit that he's running?
There's no bit. What's the bit? Wait, what's the bit? I don't get the bit.
So what happened? So it did disappear, but then it came back on after a couple days.
Do you think it was off the charts? That's why they couldn't rate it?
No, it was a big thing about how Hollywood was trying to basically block him out.
Yeah. So it was the studios, right?
Yeah, it was the studios.
And they're trying to do the same thing to Melania.
How did they? How do they get him out of the chart? Just phone calls and just
Maybe they just took him off. Yeah. Maybe they just didn't want the news to start catching that it was happening. And
That an independent film can destroy an entire.
$3 million budget, no studio help.
But that was Paranormal Activity.
No, way better. Way better. Trust me.
No, Paranormal Activity had a 6-figure budget.
Yeah, but that wasn't made by a YouTuber.
it was still studio.
And the upside was the return was insane.
So it wasn't done in the same corporate ladder version of acceptability of Hollywood industry. Is that what we're saying right now?
So every studio that he almost was able to work with, they all passed on it.
That's what I'm saying. So is the theory that Hollywood in its great and evil glory was no, we can't have this, so they took him off the chart.
Yeah, but Paranormal Activity couldn't be ignored. It was so big. I'm telling you, they spent like fucking under 100K on it.
It'd have to be so undeniable that
Wait,
you
but
couldn't brush it.
Was paranormal indie? Like there was no studio.
Not even for distribution or anything.
No, later, yeah, but they produced it themselves, so they owned it, and then they sold it, and then they made shit fucking loads because the profit was so insane. Like I'm talking about, they fucking made like 200x what they put into it. Like it was insane.
They had $15,000 as a production budget. Paranormal.
It looks like a $15,000.
Yeah, but they did such a good job selling it.
They did roughly $215,000, including post production, generating over $193 million in global box office.
And it's like
193 million.
So estimated 700,000% return.
Insane.
so exactly, it's insane. Like that was one of the most like that was one of the best stories ever told about Hollywood. But Blair Witch was the same thing. It was like small budget, great story.
And why slow something like this down?
Because it's YouTube versus traditional media. So the fact that you know, like there's always been a war between YouTubers making success in this space. That's what it's believed. There's no proof that that's what they did.
Oh, but it kind of makes sense because with all the movies in the past, it's still a movie. It still can be distributed and bought by the old networks.
The difference is that a lot of these YouTubers are sitting there with 30, 40, 50 million in audience, and they think they can't make a movie.
That is true.
Now they can, and it's proven. And he's like a really, really good example of like, okay, we don't need these like studios to like give us money or fund it or whatever, and they're just gonna do
You
it.
only make this movie because of me. I paved the roads and shit like that. All that shit. I made the roads for you, brother. I made all those YouTube movies before you did, dude. So you couldn't even fucking move your wheels on the roads. Not for me. Thanks.
And Melania.
By the way, my favorite thing about Melania.
Did you watch it?
No. My favorite thing about it is the reviews are like, she just puts on makeup and like talks sometimes. Like it's apparently very bad. It's like a day in the life, I guess.
Is
but,
it a
like,
documentary?
Yeah, and she's like getting on helicopters and putting on makeup and like talking to camera bare.
Who's like watching that as like a
Fucking MAGA people, obviously just MAGA people. That's it. Or
Wow.
people who worship those.
Is there even any MAGA anymore? I feel like it's like 10% left.
30% of the MAGA base is probably left as diehards, but yeah.
So that movie actually broke the record of the most blood use. 80,000 gallons.
Whoa.
More than Blade.
Yeah, more than Blade. I haven't seen it, but the story is it's like about the Iron Lung is I guess some kind of like a underwater craft that it's like swimming through a sea of blood on another planet or something.
Whoa.
So the he hasn't decided yet on if he's gonna do another film. He's not bitter towards all the studios and execs that passed on the project.
He's made tons of bread in his life.
Sure, yeah. He doesn't. Yeah, he really did it as like this is something I want to do for passion. Yeah,
Eddie, that's crazy.
yeah, and it's cool that he's not. It's funny because like when they ask him like who like passed or who said no, like he doesn't want to put anybody out. He's actually such a freaking nice guy.
He's just cool dude. But he wouldn't have got there if I didn't make those roads.
You're so dumb.
I love when people do that. I don't know why. I love it.
And then but he said he is willing to work with a studio in the future if they give him an unlimited budget and no notes.
That's the tough part. No notes?
Well, the trick to no notes is if you're early enough, they don't give a fuck about the notes. They care about who's attached.
Or a small enough studio, yeah.
So if you get enough numbies attached, what's the notes? Oh,
HBO just fucking kicked George R.R. Martin off of House of Dragon season 2 type shit a couple years ago or whatever.
Frank Darabont got kicked off of his own show, aka the most famous show, the Zombie Show. What's the Zombie Show? Walking Dead. First season. He killed it with that show, and then they kicked his ass out of there.
George R.R. Martin was the writer of the story. All
But
right.
we're talking about Frank Darabont, the director of Shawshank Redemption. They kicked his ass out, which is insane. But yeah, it's like
It's because they could save more money with their own people.
and they control it more. They don't, and that's
But then also their own people, they want to keep their jobs, so they got to make notes. They can't go, this is amazing. It doesn't need anything.
dude, exactly.
But the studios also have to wake up eventually, and when they realize their fuck ups are, it's like the Star Wars thing. It's like them wanting to do they want to follow up on Star Wars as if like the whole last 3 episodes, aka the first 3 or whatever the fuck. They're doing the same thing with a sequel to Game of Thrones. Actually, they're doing it. They confirmed like today or whatever.
Knights
Cool.
of the Seven Kingdoms?
I can't wait to see Bran as the king.
It's supposedly years later, but they are doing a follow-up, a sequel to the actual story of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, the story that we left off.
And they're hoping that the sentiment of it gets cleared because the audience fucking hated the series finale.
They better bring back Peter Dinklage, #1 and #2. And then they better like start fucking digging deep on who they're bringing back after that. Because who's even left? Jon Snow,
Arya,
Sansa.
Sansa.
Yep.
Sansa says she doesn't want to do no more Game of Thrones.
What do you think of the angle that this movie is more threatening now? Because like when Paranormal came out, the movie industry was pretty healthy. I guess you could say that, but people have a really interesting angle about how it's a bigger threat now because the movie industry is kind of hurting.
And I also think with Paranormal, when that came out, it was almost like pro indie, like cool, like just the little indie projects come out. But YouTube versus movie, I feel like there's a rivalry going on.
I actually think it's much simpler than this, and it's an unfortunate thing, but it really has nothing to do with what you're talking about. It has more to do with that they weren't involved with it. So to them, it's irrelevant because they had nothing to do with it. Like so to them, it's uninteresting and should be discarded because they didn't make it. Like you said, he made it himself, and so like that's the affront to them. They had nothing to do with it whatsoever.
But then how come they didn't do that with Paranormal?
It was an undeniable success.
Or Blair Witch?
It was a runaway. So you're talking about 2 in 2 decades, like runaway successes.
And then didn't you say though they were still picked up and distributed by studios like after a certain amount of time?
No, before like Blair Witch doesn't get distributed without a studio. They got. There's a reason why the director of Blair Witch.
It was his issue the fact that it was growing without even a distribution studio.
Yeah, if the fans are calling the theaters themselves, that might be.
But that's what I'm saying. So that's what I think.
He has 38 million subscribers, by the way, just on YouTube.
I think if this creates an avalanche effect where other like giant scale creators on things like YouTube want to create movies or whatever, and then they do it in the same likeness, sure.
But to them, you shouldn't have that power.
Like a Taylor Swift being like, I'm going to redo all my masters, and then artists today being like, I'm going to go independent. I want to hold on to my stuff. Like if there's enough of momentum that's created in the industry afterwards, sure. But I think if like them doing these actions and then like other people are still like too scared to do something without partnering up with like a mega studio and nobody does like the man after this, then I think the studios probably will just succeed.
Yeah.
Cause like, what's our response as the regular person, right? I'm somebody who like doesn't know shit about this creator or this movie. I hear this story, I'm like, whoa, that's crazy. What do I want to do? Low key, illegally stream the movie just to know what's up. Am I going to suddenly like protest and go to the movie theaters and try to pay full price and hope that it's at my local theater? I think
like you did with Final Destination.
But our response though is already measured, right? Like our response is we went and saw Avatar: Fire and Ash, and they made $1 billion, right? So like this isn't that. It's just that they weren't involved, so they hate it. They hate that they weren't involved. That's all it is. I guarantee that's what it is. I'm not giving you anything, by the way. Oh, because I made movies and shit. I'm just telling you the psychology of these fucks is so clear as
I do think a mid or lower studio though might wake up and be like, all of our regular produced shit in the last year like cost us 10 million and made us -2 million. Let's just take a chance.
I mean, a lot of expensive films have been whiffing lately.
Well, that's what Blumhouse has done, right? Like Blumhouse is all about that. They're about the small budget indie horror-ish sci-fi shit. So like there's a model for that now. And this kind of fits that. But he didn't need those cats. So like those cats are even against him. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, like so all the way through the totem pole, they're just like, eh.
Like, yeah, no, you shouldn't, you don't belong here, brother. Like, it's like you moved into like our racial neighborhood, dude. Like, don't get the mail except at night with a hoodie on, brother.
I think if in this moment you guys wanted to pick up your guys' script where you left off, you have a chance.
By the way, I agree, but I also think that we're gonna get to make it cheaper in like fucking 2 years with AI. And we're going to be able to do it like never before.
But then you go into the market where everybody's doing the same. So it's just a matter of sticking out of like 1 million people or sticking out in 10,000 people.
You want to close off your Melania sub story?
It's an underdog story.
All right, we're done.
That's good. It's an underdog story.